This is the game of the week. The Vikings at the Packers. The Packers are 2.5 point favorites at home. Jordan Love should be back in this game.
Nope, nice.
This is a battle between two heavyweights in the NFC.
And I'm going to be honest. This is the one game that I'm going to open up an app and I'm going to put some money on it. I'm taking Minnesota in this game, especially for them being underdogs, the way that their defense has been performing against high-end talent. Against San Francisco, we saw Purdy have his worst game of the season. Against the Houston Texans, we saw C.J. Stroud struggle mightily, probably the most that he struggled outside of that Ravens game in the playoffs. I feel very confident that they can go into Lambeau and they can still go ahead and execute at a high level, especially Jordan Love's first game back. I'm anticipating that they can still have a pretty decent performance because, of course, we've seen them operate at a high level while Jordan Love has been out. And even still, now that you have Jordan Love in there, with the way that Minnesota has been getting pressure, with the way that their secondary has been playing, I trust that Minnesota can limit them enough. And on top of it, Sam Darnold's been playing awesome football. And Justin Jefferson, although Jair Alexander is still one of the premier corners in the game, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who Jettas goes up against. Aaron Jones has been fantastic. That complementary piece of Ty Chandler has also been extremely valuable for them this season. I just love Minnesota and the way that they've been playing. I'm taking the Vikings.
Yeah, I've been disrespectful to the Vikings all year. Haven't picked them yet. I won't be picking them next week. So this is the week I got to pick them, right? I can't go against them 5 weeks in a row.
You picked them against the Giants? Had to.
No, I picked the Giants.
Oh,
definitely picked the Giants.
I think we all picked the Giants.
No, we did not.
I don't think so, no.
No, you picked the Vikings.
I'll say a couple
shot,
people definitely
no
picked the
shot.
Vikings.
We picked the Giants.
But,
You picked the Giants against the Commanders. Stop talking like it's the
fucking
craziest
Commanders.
thing.
Yeah.
And now they're like that.
Okay.
Giants almost won that game. Should have won that game.
Should have.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But
Some
Jordan
Bengals
Love,
can't say.
real shot to play is the latest report. I think he will play, but this is gonna be a tough matchup. First game back, you're going up against one of the top defenses in the league. Week one, it was week one, but that offense, Jordan Love specifically, didn't look that great in my opinion. Some turnover-worthy plays, just some off-target throws, uncharacteristic of Jordan Love. But I
Also,
think he'll bounce back here.
tidbit. Apologize. You mentioned off-target throws. Joe Burrow had a career high 5 off-target throws in the red zone
Damn.
against the Commanders. 5.
Better play
Proceed.
design, man.
That's it. I got the Vikings.
Better play design is
I seen this interesting stat that, according to True Media Sports,
I need to get a subscription.
Brian-
How do you get into that?
yeah, I don't know. It's
They get all the numbers for everything in that.
yeah, all the guys that like work at the Athletic and 33rd team and PFF have access to it. It's very hard. I think I like email them, but Brian Flores this year has dropped 8 or he's rushed 6, 23.6% of the time. That's a quarter of the time, and the improvement that it shows from last year is that last year he did it 47.7% of the time, which was half the time, which means last year the Vikings were doing it. They were either blitzing or they were dropping a lot of players in coverage. And this year, there's just more variation to the Vikings defense. And that's why it's been so tough to stop. Right now, how I view, because I think this matchup is more than anything, Brian Flores versus Matt LaFleur. I feel like right now they're 1-1. Last year, Jordan Love, when he first went up against Minnesota, Minnesota had their way. Their defense was really great against them. But then in their matchup later in the season, week 17, Jordan Love carved up that defense, and he had one of the best performances of his young career. I feel like the key for the Packers to win this game is that they have to create a lead. The one situation the Vikings have not been in this year, they haven't played from behind. Sam Darnold has only attempted 2 passes when playing from behind. And the weakness of their offensive line is the interior. Darisaw and Brian O'Neill have been great, but 20 of the 34 pressures that they've allowed this year have come from the interior. So that is a major red flag, and I think the Packers have the players in Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt to have a great game against this interior offensive line. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers here. Right now, they're first in explosive play rate in 3 weeks, and 2 of those weeks have come without Malik Willis. Malik Willis. Matt LaFleur scrapped up his West Coast offense and totally created an offense around Malik Willis and his strengths. And you see how they've been playing. The Packers are first in rushing yards through 3 weeks. And who thought we'd be saying that? So I think Matt LaFleur has entered this elite tier head coaching category. And the battle between him and Flores, more than anything, is going to decide this game. I do think that if last week was like a must-win game, he would have played. So I think that extra week of rest is going to help him. It does bother me a little bit that he's coming off that knee injury, because just with that comes maybe some inaccuracies, maybe not playing, with the utmost confidence.
He was already doing that prior to the injury.
He was.
It was just one game in the season. I'm not worried about that. But
now bro's falling off Jordan Love. I'm keeping note.
But I think this game more than anything is a battle between LaFleur and Brian Flores. The Packers being at home at Lambeau Field. It's going to be a tough environment for Sam Darnold to go to.
Yep.
And the main goal of this game is you have to create a lead because Sam Darnold has not been in those high pressure situations. And when he has been in those in his career historically, he has pressed. So that's the number one goal to win for the Green Bay Packers.
I hate when he in the back. It like really pisses
He does
me off.
moan a lot
he
back
moans
there.
all day. It's actually insane. You mentioned it, man. It's a lot of superstar matchups in this battle. You know, you got Jettas versus Jair. You got Flores versus LaFleur. It's just you got that Vikings defense versus Jordan Love. Like it's just a lot. This is probably game of the weekend. You know, this is definitely one of the biggest games of the weekend. This is a division game. It's gonna decide a lot. You know, Vikings 3-0. Coming off an impressive ass whipping to the Houston Texans. You know, the Green Bay Packers surviving without Jordan Love, 2-0 without him. Malik Willis was doing his thing. Jordan Love playing this game is so important because we get to see these teams not fully healthy, but definitely with their quarterbacks. I'm interested to see if Addison is playing this week because I think that would be huge. But Naylor has been so good for them as a second option. I mean, he's just been awesome. When they all get back and they have Naylor, that's just going to be a crazy offense. I think I'm going with the Vikings here, though. You know, you mentioned Garrett is one of them ones. Well, the real one of them ones over there is in Minnesota. I think he is going to light up Jair Alexander. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a really good game. They'll be able to run the ball, move the ball. Aaron Jones, this is playing his former team, so he's got a lot to say. He's definitely going to have a lot to go out there and perform, play well on the road. Minnesota, at this point, has just been playing with, I don't want to say high expectations. People have been doubting them, and they've just been proving the doubter wrong. And this is another week of just going in there, proving the doubter wrong, proving the doubters wrong. And I think Green Bay is a really good team, and I think Minnesota's a really good team. So this is a 50-50. You go with who you want to go with. For me, though, I'm picking Minnesota.
I look at this matchup, and I see what you guys are talking about. This is one of the most fascinating games of the week because these are two elite coaching staffs. But I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings because it's hard to pick against a team that defensively has been the most chaotic and confusing for opposing quarterbacks. I think if Jordan Love plays, he's going to struggle with shaking off some rust. But on the other hand, if Malik Willis is playing, I'm not looking at him really playing as well as he did last week versus the Titans because we just saw C.J. Stroud play arguably the worst game of his career, definitely one of the worst, versus Vikings defense. They're getting pressure, they're generating turnovers. But I think one matchup that's really exciting is Jair Alexander on Justin Jefferson, ideally shadowing him, which he didn't do all of in past matchups. But Jair is limited right now with a quad injury, so maybe that plays a role in it. But I've got Minnesota. We just watched them dominate the Texans. They beat San Francisco. I'm not going to pick against them again.
Yeah, and a potential also advantage for the Vikings is just Kevin O'Connell versus Jeff Hafley. This is a rookie defensive coordinator. So, and he likes to play a lot of man coverage versus the Colts. He played a lot of split safety looks, zone looks. So he has shown that he can adjust his scheme. But this is a big test for him and to see where he's at, if he can stop another top offense. There is this offensive line composite rankings that puts together PFF, ESPN, and Sports Info Solutions offensive lines. And right now, the Packers are 4th in pass blocking, and the Vikings are 28th. So that is another reason why I went with the Packers, just because they're a great run blocking team, but they struggle in pass protection. But they've had leads. So right now, the goal for the Packers is just to put them in those situations where they have to trust their offensive lineman to protect Sam Darnold more.
This guy's evil, man.
What you looking at,
I don't
Dose?
know why he's.
You're just gonna pick the Packers like every week. It's not like, oh, the pass blocking. You're not like, I just know, but good
Who
stats.
did you pick? You picked the Titans last week?
I picked against the Packers
Didn't
every
you think
single
Malik
week.
Willis was going to be bad?
I did.
Yeah, and you were dead wrong. So how about you
was.
shut your mouth, Dose? How about you
Dead
shut
You
your
know,
mouth?
Jordan Love is still dead last completion percentage.
It's one game. You thought Malik Willis was going to come in and stink it up. He beat your coach and outplayed Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson, by the way. That's
did.
your guy, right?
He
That's your
did.
guy.
I
He
definitely
outplayed him.
stamped that.
Then Titans, you don't like Will Levis, and you was like, oh, I'm going to pick the Packers if Love plays, but if he doesn't, I'm going to pick the Titans and Malik Willis plays. And then Malik Willis went out there and had a career game
Yeah,
and shut your ass up.
it really makes the system look
Yeah,
really
stop it.
easy. So it's a bit concerning that Jordan Love goes in there week 1 and looks terrible. I don't know.
The system looks great. That's why I got trust in the Packers, baby.
Go, Pack, go.
That's where we're going.